Number one today is Monday, July 7th, 2025. Should be for Tuesday, the 8th. All right, let's go. Well, not a bad day overall in the portfolio. We'll get to that in just 1 second. BTM, obviously, a little bit of a rally there. Go ahead and bump your stop. Did it for the KGC. KGC now has that 16 handle, so feel free to lock and load if we get fairly close to that 1650. It doesn't always, as you know, trading doesn't always work on exacts. Let's keep these three in here. I did adjust the stop on the NAGE a little lower. Let's take a look at these right now. NAGE, this is a fine looking setup. Nice acceleration high, a little bit of a double top. This like TKO type of move here, a little pullback to the moving average. So it's got quite a few things working for it, including quite a bit of persistency and acceleration. So far, so good. As far as a good looking setup there, two other ones would be VG and AEVA. AEVA, TKO type of setup. Make sure you wait for an entry, obviously, on that one. And finally, VG is pulled back to the moving average. Looks kind of nice in here. Cup and handle, as I said last night. Let's take a look at portfolio, and then we'll pop out to the overall market. First of all, BTM, not a bad day there. Off its best levels, unfortunately, but hey, still a decent day nonetheless, at least percentage-wise. So I'm going to bump the stop a little bit on that one. KGC, different, not a bad day there, I should say. Closing at brand new highs. Again, 1650 IPT. If it gets fairly close to that, lock and load. Let's take a look at KTOS. KTOS started strong, but came back in, up a smidge on the day. You know me, I should like to get back out the profit target and not look back for a while. Decent rally in TFPM, another one of these pullbacks and moving averages, beginning to rally off of it. So far, so good there. Again, I should like to see it just make some new highs and keep on keeping on. Let's take a look at the overall market and drill down a bit. Bees got hit fairly hard, down a little bit more than 0.75%, though. They could actually use a pullback, and so far they've cleared these prior peaks decisively, so I wouldn't get too excited about that. They did close off their worst levels, obviously, which is a good thing. Did it for the NASDAQ, closing off its worst levels. So far, nice little breakout remains intact. You know me, again, I like to see them just break out and not look back for quite a while, but hey, you know, so far, so good. A little bit different story with the Rusty 2000, down 1.5% off its worst level, still down 1.5%. Nonetheless, you really want to see a market get through overhead supply without a tremendous amount of trouble. But hey, you know, routine, here it comes, one day at a time. Other areas did sell off fairly hard after just touching that overhead supply, such as robotics and AI. Cyber computing, or cybersecurity, I should say, coming in a little bit. So far, though, breakout remains intact there. EFA shares, little questionable, or back to the questionable column, I should say. They tried to get back to their old highs, then they get hit fairly hard today. Bitcoin is stuck in a bit of a range. Longer term, still in a decent trend, but short to intermediate term, sideways. And I'd like to see it obviously break out and not look back. Stop me if you heard that before. Take a look at gold, the commodity, outside day up. Not a bad day there at all, after all was said and done, at least. Still a bit sideways as of late, but so far, longer term, still in a decent trend. Once again, gold stocks still look better than gold overall. Outside day up, not too far from those highs, so that's certainly a good thing there. Broker-dealer coming in a little bit, but off its worst levels and just a smidge off of all-time closing highs. So far, so good there. Nice little breakout remains intact. Biotech, kind of interesting. The biotech itself got whacked today down to 1.5%, but my Landry 100 momentum list, I have more biotechs than most anything else, other than maybe aerospace and defense. Software down a little. So far, right at these breakout levels. Again, I'd like to see a breakout and not look back. I'll promise not to say that one more time tonight. Defense, nice day there, just off all-time highs. So far, so good. Nice little trend starting there. I guess the point I was making with biotech is we are seeing quite a bit of improvement internally, so maybe we'll see more and more biotech setting up, and maybe we'll see the overall sector set up. Semiconductor just coming back in. A bit of a bummer since they just hit all-time highs, but so far they still look pretty good. Intermediate term, nice trend, still remaining intact there. Banks coming back, and again, I hate to see a market stall at the prior peaks. Not the end of the world, but so far hanging in there, but did get hit a little bit today. Silver, the commodity, a little bit of an opening gap reversal, not too far from brand new highs. It's interesting that Physical uranium got whacked pretty hard. Still in a trend, but whacked pretty hard nonetheless. Whereas the uranium stocks look okay. They actually did a little bit higher today. Just kind of consolidating at these high levels. So the bottom line is overall, most areas still look pretty good. Obviously, some areas came back in a little bit, like financials after just breaking out. So we'll have to, again, take things one day at a time. But overall, market still looks pretty good. But make sure, of course, in light of today's weakness, that you wait for entries. Any questions? You know the routine. Everybody have a fantastic night. We'll talk tomorrow. Thank you so much.